Welcome back, everybody, to the third episode. Thank you guys for coming back. If you are back, welcome back. Guys, we have a really good friend of mine in here. He is from the East Coast, which is why I love him so much. His name is Joe D'Amico. He is one of the winningest sports handicappers in the world. This guy has an amazing story. I can't wait to get into it. There's a lot of stuff I'm really interested in learning about this whole aspect of stuff that happens with sports betting because I don't know shit about it. But before we get into that, make sure you guys go on to your app stores and download our app, GoLive Vegas app. All one thing, GoLive Vegas app. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, all those great things. I'm going to be getting up there's going to be one central link that's going to be linking you guys on to everything. And so this way you click on one thing and it'll bring you up to a page. We're working on that. We're getting all this stuff done. But you can find us online also at After Dark Host at all those different things. So check us out online. And if anybody's interested in being a sponsor for this show, we are looking for sponsors. So if you guys want me to plug your whatever things, please contact us here through the website. You can get a hold of Aaron at afterdarkhost.com there. So check us all out. All right. Now we're going to get into it. Here he is, Mr. Joe D'Amico. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
John, it's an honor. I'm very happy. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.
Third guest. Thank you.
Thank you. So your life is very, very interesting. Now, so a little backstory first. The first time I met you was probably, I think, about 2 years ago. We were at our mutual friend Murray Sawchuck's 1 millionth YouTube subscriber party. It was at the Golden Tiki. And I remember seeing you across the room, and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And I was like, you were all blinged out, and I was like, who is this guy, and why don't I know him? So I went up to Murray. I'm like, who is that guy? He was like, that's Joe D'Amico. I'm like, okay, who's that? And then he's like, oh, he's a sports guy. And I was like, okay, well, I don't understand. So then you and I started talking, and I realized you were from New York. Yeah. I'm from New York. And then, of course, as New Yorkers do, we immediately loved each other.
Absolutely.
It's a really weird thing out here because New Yorkers, I notice out here, tend to gravitate towards each other for a lot of things. One of them is food, because we are all of the opinion that New York pretty much has the best food in the world. Our pizza is great. Our bagels are great. And we just have everything. I mean, which is one of the great things. It's one of the things I miss about New York a little bit. But I do love Vegas, and I know you love Vegas. I came out here around 94, 95, and I immediately fell in love with this town. And you came out here, obviously, a bit earlier than me. But let's get into when did you first come to Las Vegas?
Well, I've been coming to Vegas since I'm 10 years old with my father. He's a very well-respected gambler. But I came out here when I was on vacation, December of '89. I was 20 years old. I came out here with 4 friends of mine, all Italian guys. I'm from the Lower East Side, Little Italy.
I would never have guessed
Never have guessed it, right? Yeah, the bling and the pinky ring and pulling up with the white Cadillac. I had 4 buddies of mine. We went to high school together, famous high school on 16th Street in Manhattan called Xavier High School. Yeah. Went to Xavier, but we're still very close. As a matter of fact, several of them are coming out in a few months from now. But I was 20 years old, December of '89. We got a 5-room suite at the old Aladdin. My father got us a suite.
Wow. I went to the Aladdin before they blew it up.
It was, but the old Aladdin before it was an amazing. Like literally, you get out of your car and you toss your keys to the valet. You didn't need a ticket. You walked in the front door, and by the time you hit the tables, a cocktail waitress. And by the way, these were cocktail waitresses were long-legged and good-looking.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, but before you hit the tables, a cocktail waitress would bring you over your drink.
Your drink.
And by the time you got to wherever you're going, it was one big party. But we stood at the old Aladdin, and we were all 20 years old. We had some friends that owned clubs and strip clubs and whatnot here in town. And every night we went out. And we had a good time. Now, back in those days, it was not uncommon not to stay up for 4 or 5 days at a time.
Yeah, get a lot of energy.
Energy. But after a few days of going out and not sleeping, one night I stood in. My friends all went out. While they were getting in the next morning, I woke up. I went down. I had breakfast. I had a friend who's still a friend of mine till today. He was a bartender at the old Aladdin at the casino bar. And I said, Dave, it's raining out. It's a little rainy out. It's crappy. I can't play golf today. All my friends are sleeping it off. What's there to do? He said, well, you can see Hoover Dam. I said, come on, Dave. You want me to go see Hoover Dam? I said, it's great. It's great for Chevy Chase on vacation, but not me. Yeah. I said, but what? He said, you know what? My wife sells houses, and everybody she shows, she gets $100. to show houses. I said, you serious? She says, yeah. I said, call her up. She showed me a couple of happening areas, and literally, she came back to the hotel with me. Not in a weird way. She came. I said, come back. I said, I like that house over there that I seen over on Chop and Rainbow. I gave her a block of money. I put it down. Of course, I chewed her down on the price, but I bought a house that day. I still have that house 30 years later. I have quite a few houses here in Vegas.
Wow.
I fell in love with Vegas. I love the weather. I love the city. I love the fact that it is a 24-hour gambling town. We're centrally located. This is the entertainment capital of the world.
It really is.
It really is. It's amazing. And I love, this is my home. I love this city.
It's become my home, too. Like, I love New York, and it will always be the place I was born. But this is as soon as I got here, I literally got off the plane. My friend picked me up. We drove past the MGM. I looked at this bright green. That's back when they had the old line, the cartoony, weird Legoland looking line.
Yep.
And I was like, I love there's a big giant crazy castle. There's a pyramid. I was like, this is for me. I don't know why, but this was for me.
It's an amazing city. When you live here, when you're visiting, everybody visits here and they see, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for herpes. You take that home with you. No, but honestly, when everybody comes here, they visit here, they party, they go home. This is a home for us. We have schools, we have churches, we have grocery stores. Well, there is culture here too. There is a lot of culture here. When I first moved here, we didn't have all around a million great restaurants. And coming from New York City, the epicenter of the universe, we came from the food capital of the world. We came from the culture capital of the world. But we have culture. We have some amazing restaurants. We have the best day in nightclubs. I'm too old for them, but we have the best day in nightclubs.
I am too.
I'm too old. I'm telling you right now. Oh my goodness, I could never do that.
I don't want to get up that early, and I don't want to stay out that late.
Absolutely not. Let me tell you right now, a good night for me. I mean, I live a very, very exciting life to many, but I still like staying at home. Yep. On the couch, my dogs, my wife. I love her very, very much, and of course, she's in the studio. I got to say that. But I love this city. It is the entertainment capital of the world. I am in sports gambling. I don't know we're going to touch on that, but if you can't live in Las Vegas and enjoy the strips and the casinos and gambling, and even driving to LA or going skiing in the next state,
we're really so close to so many things.
Oh my God,
we really are. Mount Charleston's 45 minutes away from here. And for those people who don't understand what that is, out here, like it can be 100 degrees here in town, in Las Vegas, like prime. You go up to Mount Charleston, 45 minutes away, it's like a 30-degree difference.
There's snow on the caps. You can see it. It's amazing.
You can go camping up there. There's a restaurant up top, and it's a beautiful... people don't realize that
we have some of the best hiking, and not just one or two. There's dozens of hiking spaces. People come from all over the world to come here, and it's great. And like you said, literally, you could jump on a plane, be in LA. You could be in San Diego in less than an hour. You could drive it in 3.5. You could go up. We have a great wine country right next door in Temecula. It's like a 3.5 hour drive. But you go to Utah. If you want to marry several times, you go to Utah. You go to Arizona. I'm a big sports fan. My wife and I, we see lots of sports, college sports, and pro sports in the surrounding states.
So what got you into the sports betting thing? So this is really what you do. This is your living. And for those of you guys who are interested in this kind of stuff, you can actually find Joe online. All American Sports Information, which is aasiwins.com. You can check out Joe's website. There it is, right there. But I'm really interested in, because I think myself included, a lot of people don't understand. I've heard the term sports handicapper. Heard it a bunch of times. We've also heard the term bookie come out a lot of. So I want to really dive into some of that. Like, what is a sports handicapper? Exactly what does that mean? Okay,
a sports handicapper, as you would go to a stockbroker to advise you on what stocks to buy. A stockbroker has an education, a background, a savvy for picking good stocks.
Gotcha.
People who want to bet on sports come to certain amount of people in this industry that year in, year out make people money and have a good reputation. I myself have more world handicapping championships than any 5 guys combined over the last 15 years. I advise people what teams to bet on. I have a background. I grew up around bookmakers. Now, for our listeners, John, a bookmaker is somebody who takes bets, sports bets.
Yes.
I am not a bookmaker. I did grow up in Little Italy, Manhattan, and you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a bookmaker. And on my floor in Little Italy was the biggest. There were 2 guys. They were Italian.
No, really?
But 2 guys that were known as the 2 biggest bookmakers. They had outlets all over the 5 boroughs in Jersey and whatnot. But I, as a young age, was very good with my hands. I started boxing at 6, karate at 9. I started winning gold gloves. I did something we called collecting, and I collected for them. And I was never a gambler, mind you.
Yes.
I had football sheets in the schoolyard when I was in third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, seventh, eighth, ninth grade, even through high school. I had football sheets. They turned a blind eye in my school because it was a harmless thing. It's not like nobody was betting their mortgage.
Yeah.
These kids were, So, but I did some collecting. I collected in the New York Post, which is a newspaper. I collected on the docks. I collected down the fish market, which is 3 tough areas.
Yeah.
But I did the collecting for the bookmakers, and I always saw every week I was collecting. I was never a big gambler in New York. My father's a respected horse handicapper and went to the track, and I always enjoyed that, but I wasn't a guy that needed to go to track 7 nights a week or go to Atlantic City. When I moved to Vegas, I got into bodyguarding celebrities and fighters.
Okay.
And sometimes I would work every night for months, and sometimes I wouldn't work for months. And a guy like me, and you're a friend of mine, I can't stay idle. Trust me, I'll wind up locked up. I can't have time on my hands. So somebody said to me, why don't you go into that and do some selling on the phones and set like a boiler room?
Yeah.
So I said, no. So I wound up walking into the most respected handicapper in the world, an icon in the industry, Jim Feist, who is the guy invented the sports handicapping business, and learning from his people. I sold sports on the phone, and I was very good. And within the first 2 months, I made like $60,000, and I was good at it.
Now, is this a thing where like you call them or they call you?
Both.
Both.
We call incoming leads. We call people that are in the database. We call people that go on the 800 numbers.
Yeah.
They used to trap everybody's phone number, whatever you did.
Yeah.
This was before the internet.
Yeah.
And I was really good at it, and I stood in the business. I did it, and little by little, and then a few years later, I had a son. And when I knew I was going to have a child, they said no more bodyguarding because it's a little risky.
Dangerous, yeah.
And what I did was I ran a room for another known handicapper, and I said, wait a minute, man. Every weekend, none of these guys win. And I don't want to name that handicapper, but another guy who also ran he did run for president a few years ago, but I won't name him. So I ran this room, and I was making good money, but I'm in a room, I got to answer to somebody. I like to have my own freedom. So I went out on my own. My wife, my father, both said to me, Joe, you're as good as anybody I've ever seen for picking winners. And you've got a great work ethic. Why don't you start your own company? And I went into it, and the first couple of years was tough because I had to break into it as a handicapper.
Yeah.
So I knocked down, like right here in Las Vegas, I got into the newspaper. I won the contest my first year against 9 other professional handicappers. The following year, I got into the college contest. I won that handicapping contest. I started writing columns. The internet started coming about, websites where you can buy sports information from guys like me.
Yes.
I started leading every season, whether it be baseball, college and pro football, college and pro basketball. I was at the top of every leaderboard, first, second, and third for wins, percentage, profits, things like that. And
so when you're betting on this stuff, are you betting on just who's going to win? There's a point because I've always heard the term, the point spread, the over, the under. What exactly is that?
Well, I'll tell you what. The most popular,
dumb it down.
The most popular sports to bet on. Football, basketball, baseball. All right, hockey, we won't talk about it. It gets a little more complicated. It's a little lesser. It's not as many people bet hockey as bet football. Let me put it this way. If you get 100 sports bettors in a room, all 100 would bet football. About 90 would bet basketball. About 80 would bet baseball. And maybe 30 or 40 would bet hockey now. But it's increased over the years. So in lined sports, which would be football and basketball, on any given day, let me put it this way: if I were going to fight my wife, if I were going to fight my wife, just for the sake of argument, who is tough, by the way, if I were going to fight my wife, very few people would bet on my wife.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just kidding, honey. I'm just using this as an extreme. Okay. So we put a handicap on the game. So they might say, okay, if you want to bet Joe, you got to lay $1,000 to win $100, but to bet his wife, you bet $100 to win $900. Okay. So they put a handicap on the game. They put it to where there's value on both sides. So that in line sports like basketball and football, everybody knows, all right, good teams. The Patriots, let's say the Bengals, who is a crappy team.
Yeah.
If the Patriots play the Bengals on any given day, if they were in New England, the line would be 17 points probably. So now you say, the Bengals are going to kill them. But now you say, wait a minute. Before the game starts, the Bengals are winning 17-0 as far as the point value goes. Yeah. So now now as bets come in, the bookmakers or the sports books, like here we have sports books in every casino, but they're online. They're all over the country. Now we can talk about sports betting throughout the country, but they raise or lower the line to accommodate the money that's coming in. So if more people are betting the Patriots, the line would go up. More people betting the Bengals, the line would go down. They make it more attractive to both sides. They want to try to get the equal amount on both sides wagered because you don't bet even money. In other words, if I just say I'll bet you $10, it's $10. But if you bet in a casino, you've got to bet it's 11 to 10. You got to bet $1.10 to win $1. So so if you bet $1.10 to win $1 on both sides, one side wins, one side loses most of the time. One side wins, one side loses. They'll keep a 5% juice on every single game, and it adds up. And if the sports books, just like the bookmakers back home, do their job correctly, they will make money. And there has been an explosion of sports betting in this country, John. A few years, 25 years ago, the only place outside of the state of Nevada you could bet a sports bet was with your local bookie, and that is illegal.
Yeah.
Now, nobody knows what nobody knows. It was a victimless crime, things like that. But what happened was, with the emergence of the internet, they became these offshore gaming facilities, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic. These guys and they were all American-born people, went there. They said, well, I'm starting a sports book. I'm putting it online, and we take bets. Well, in the matter of time, they were doing billions upon billions upon billions upon billions every year.
Yeah.
Now, as Nevada handle raised, you can only imagine where people were betting in the other 49 states. They're betting tons and tons of money with these offshores. So now, government, that is a crazy governor in Jersey named Christie, who said, you know what, I want sports betting. We got casino betting, I want sports betting. He battled for years. They finally broke through. And they're doing more of a handle in Jersey in sports betting than we are in Nevada. Right now, presently, about 20 states have legalized sports betting. In this next calendar year, 10 more are projected to get it, and the following year, another 10. There's then at least 10 more states that down the road. But there's so much money, and it's not a couple of $1 billion. It's hundreds of billions of dollars.
It's that big of
going
a business.
offshore. Yes, everybody gambles.
Wow.
And mind you, I want you to know, I know what some of our people out there are the naysayers. Well, it's a vice like drinking and drugs. I disagree. In drinking or drugs, if you're going to abuse drugs no matter what, and drinking, if you abuse it, which most of the time, it is always 100% detrimental to someone.
Yes.
In sports betting, yes, there are people that lose their mortgages, but they'd lose their mortgage doing anything. Trust me. People that come to Las Vegas and bet and gamble and lose. We have 52 million people a year that come to. I'm using Vegas as an example. That come here. The people that come here gamble and lose about $400. But for that, they stay in a great hotel. They see great entertainment. We've got great weather, day and nightclubs, shopping, and food. So there's an entertainment factor. And for friends of mine who do this for a living, it is a business. Yeah. Thank God I have a lot more winning days than losing days. I do have losing days.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's no way you're going to win 100% of the time.
Absolutely not.
Because it's not a perfect science.
No.
You're doing your homework, learning about the teams and what their stats are and all that kind of stuff is how I'm vision how it works. And then you're taking that information and going then and be like, okay, I'm going to put this much on this team to win at this spread because that's what I think it should do. And there are people like myself. There's a small amount of people in a business that now have tens of thousands of names in it because of the explosion of sports betting that win consistently. Now I do have bad days. That's fine. But there's certain bad habits in sports betting. You don't bet a million games. I think less is more. I'd rather have one wife like Heidi Klum than 100 that look like Rosie O'Donnell. For me, less is more. I could always, if I have a bad day today and go 0-2, I'm 24 hours away from being back in the plus column. Yeah. If people that bet on a Saturday in college football, college basketball, 20, 30 games, if you have a bad day and go 9-21, it'll take you 2 weeks to get that money back if you're on a hot streak. Yeah. So you got to be disciplined too. This to me though is entertainment. It is a way to complement your income. It is if you can be disciplined, you could make a because being a professional gambler, you got to be disciplined. You can't you're not doing this like some of these people come in and they're just like, oh, I'm going to stay here and it's going to hit. I see these people rubbing machines and doing all this. Their little fucking beanie babies and shit on stuff and and it always makes me laugh because it's true. You've seen it. Yes. Anybody who's lived here, when you walk through the casinos, you see the little blue hairs.
Go play bingo. Go play bingo at one of the local places. They all got the troll. The good luck
they got all these weird things up, and it's super funny to me because I'm like, you don't really think that. Like, I mean, it's luck. It's really. I mean, that stupid little thing doesn't do anything. What are you talking about?
Listen, I want you to know something, John. I am as good as I am in this business.
And you don't have any troll dolls, do you?
I don't have troll dolls, but I do believe in luck.
Well, of course, it's luck.
No. I do believe in. I believe in something that somebody does in my living room has a bearing on a game 2,500 miles away. I know it's absolutely absurd and ludicrous to think
A
of.
moth in Costa Rica flapping
I
its
swear
wings
to
makes,
God.
makes the ball fly a different way.
I swear to God, we're superstitious, and it's a game. There's no if a single gambler tells me he doesn't have the least bit superstition.
Yeah.
I do believe in superstition.
So funny thing is I actually have a weird little superstition when I do TV shows. So every time I do a TV,
Is that why you're not wearing pants today?
Yeah, well, that's why we have the table up so high. But I buy a new pair of weird socks every night before I go on a new TV show.
Really?
Yeah. So the last TV show I did, which was the Late Late Show with James Corden on CBS, I went to the Hustler store that's near the Rainbow where I went for dinner in Hollywood, and I bought a pair of Divine socks.
Nice.
Which
I remember Divine.
You remember Divine
very well, and he even had a couple of house music club hits.
Oh wow.
But
it was like, but I wore those, and I was like, so I have this weird. I understand superstition. I mean, I've never bet on anything like my entire. Like,
well, you've got to start.
I know.
I'll give you a friends and family rate.
All right, because I mean, here's the thing. I see you winning like a lot. Like you're like boom, called it, and like I watch you. First of all, for those of you guys who don't know him personally, his Facebook page is filled with some of the funniest, most offensive things you'll ever find, which I find hilarious. Because I enjoy offensive humor more probably than anybody. But it's like every morning I get up and I'm like, well, what the hell is he going to put up today? This is going to be great. And but your sports betting stuff, it's like big. I mean, like right now we got coming up like the Super Bowl is obviously the next big thing.
Yes.
And we actually have a new stadium going in.
True.
And we have the Raiders that are now officially the Las Vegas Raiders, which I'm kind of curious to see. What do you think about that? Like, what do you? I mean, now first we got a hockey team, and everybody in this city went like ape shit. It was kind of really weird. Like all these people I knew.
There wasn't hockey fans literally.
No, there was nobody. Nobody gave a crap about sports, hockey, or anything. And then all of a sudden, we got one hockey team, and everywhere you look, I see the stickers everywhere in town. Everyone. Everyone. It's really weird. I've never seen a city get behind something so quick and unite so hard, and like all of our local like celebrities, which we have a lot of celebrities here in this town. A lot of big name people live here because the city is fantastic, and everybody like got around this hockey team. And it did have something to do with the timing.
Well, I think the October 1st tragedy.
Yeah, the October 1st
brought this city together.
And they played not too long.
Yes.
Right, their first game was not too long right after that.
And they won right away. And they went to the finals.
Yeah.
Which
is pretty good for a first-year team.
It's unheard of for an expansion team. It's never happened before to go to the championship. Now, I am an advocate for anything Las Vegas.
Yes.
This is my home. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a big supporter. I tell people all the time this is the best city in the world.
This is an amazing city. But I want to tell you, I've been here 30 years, and I've seen a lot of teams. Listen, when I first moved here, the Rebels, the Runnin' Rebels were the best college basketball team in the country. And until this day, I still say that not because I'm a Las Vegan. As a professional sports bettor and sports fan, there's never been another college basketball team that was that complete as that team. They were children playing against children. They were amazing. They were just, but in any case, but 2 years later they started losing.
Yeah.
The stands were empty. Okay, we have UNLV football. There's maybe 2,000 fans that go there.
Yeah.
We have arena football.
You don't hear anything about it.
If this team did not win, their tickets wouldn't be. That's right. And guys, I am an advocate for Vegas. Anything that's good for Vegas. But what pisses me off about the Vegas Golden Knights is they're the second highest regular season ticket in the NHL and the highest postseason ticket. Next year, they're going to be the highest regular season. They're going up again 13%. And Pete, I want you to know, it isn't the tourists that are paying the prices to these games. It's the locals. And let me tell you, if you've been to the T-Mobile, which is a nice place to see a game.
Yeah.
But, I kid you not, we went there opening night. I've seen 100 things at the T-Mobile, maybe more. But we went there opening night for Guns N' Roses. I was there as a guest of the band. I went up to the refreshment stand, the concession stand. I bought 2 beers and 2 Absolute and Red Bulls. It was $80-something.
Holy shit.
Now, how does a family of 4 go to a game where shitty seats in the nosebleeds.
Well, first of all, those kids shouldn't be drinking so
yeah,
much.
yeah. Well, this is true. But then again, they do live in Vegas.
You know, I mean, they should be drinking
what I'm
margaritas.
saying-
Let's be
no,
honest.
but like a family for, and this is why people say you hate the. I don't hate the Knights. I hate what the organization and the T-Mobile is doing to the local.
Yeah, it's not the team. I mean, the
No.
team. Those guys aren't making
They're
that
great.
money.
No, well, the team is getting paid.
The team is getting paid. Yeah, but they're not getting the concession money.
No.
themselves, you know.
They're robbing these people blind. They keep going up, and literally, I have friends that can't afford to go to a game.
How much are the games there? I've never been.
Literally, a shit ticket in the nosebleeds against a shit team is going to cost you $100 and change.
Are you kidding me?
$100 and change. If you want to go down a little further, $2 and change, $3 and change, $4, $5, $6, $7, $800.
Wow.
For one ticket.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot.
And I'm using extremes here, but listen to me. Yankee Stadium doesn't charge it. Plus, they jack up parking on the strip.
Yeah.
$25 to $40 per place on anything that goes on at the T-Mobile that night, any place on the strip. Now, as a gambler, this doesn't affect me, John, because I don't pay for jack shit here.
Yeah.
All right. I have friends of mine who go, I can't go to the strip because I pay for parking. Dude, you make $1 million a year, pay the $20. Well, you don't pay for it. I don't pay for it because I gamble and everybody knows me in town. But also, like anything else, John, you work in entertainment, you work in a place. If I'm a regular, I get treated different anyway, and everybody knows me in town.
If you're spending more money, you're going to get treated. I mean, that's the way this town has worked forever.
Built on gambling. Listen, we got a great baseball park, the Las Vegas ballpark. I did a column on it for the Gaming Today. I write for the esteemed Gaming Today. I write a baseball column, a college football column, and I just started an entertainment column. But I wrote something about the Las Vegas ballpark. It's a great place to see a game. If you park and have to walk in with kids or the elderly or somebody with an impairment, impossible. It's a long walk in the stadium. The stadium itself is beautiful. It's gorgeous. The seats are amazing. They're geared towards the heat. They're mesh. They're beautiful. You could see from anywhere. It's a great place to see. I went up and I bought, I think nachos were like $13. Beers go from nachos are how much? $15, $16 for nachos. All right. I went and I bought beers for us. I bought 4 beers. It cost me $50 something, and I did a column on it saying it's a great place to see a game. It's a great event. In between every inning, they have events. It's great that you meet and greet. It's a great place. But they rob you blind. And somebody wrote the paper and said, well, it's very comparable to Major League ballparks. I said, whoa, you just said it yourself. It's not a Major League ballpark. It's a minor league ballpark. Yeah. And this isn't Major League ballpark where visitors of fans are coming in and paying some shit.
Yeah.
The locals are paying. So the same thing with the Raiders. I just had a friend of mine who's very well off. He owns 5 or 6 businesses here in town. It's the same business, but he owns 5 or 6 branches. It's very, very well to do. And he called me and says, Joe, just to get the right to bid on the Raiders tickets is tens of thousands of dollars, wow. 10, 15,000. He says, and I did that. Now they want $12,000, $12,000 a ticket. $12,000 and you get 8. And he says, how many home games do they play? I said 8. He said, wait. So I'm paying $48,000 for 8 tickets. I said, yeah. He said, can I sell them? I said, yes, you can. You can, but you got to be careful. I don't know about the Raiders. Some places you can't sell them for more. Some you can. But I want to tell you this. What bothers me about the Raiders in the stadium, when they were talking about getting a pro football team here, San Diego Chargers and the Raiders were in talks. Now,
with Las Vegas.
With Las Vegas.
Gotcha.
The San Diego Chargers, if you ever go to there, go to a game, the fans are nice. They're all sweet. It's a great place to see a game. Everybody's friendly. It's a good team. They're well liked. The Raiders, and I have nothing against the Raider organization, but their fans.
I've heard a lot of things. Now, I've never been to.
It's a nightmare.
I don't know. I've never been to a game with the Raiders or anything like that. I remember Lyle Alzado, I think, was the last Raider that I ever remember playing. And but I've heard you see online on Facebook and like stuff. Oh, the Raiders fans, they're so horrible.
They are bad.
But why? But what makes them?
Maybe
bad?
it's the area. Maybe it's the fact that the gang element take their colors. That's the thing.
Do they just like?
But you want the truth? It is a bad thing. If you walk into Raider Stadium, if you walk into the Oakland A's, go see an Oakland A's game with a Yankee jersey on. I went there twice with my family, and twice I hit people.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 guys followed my wife who had a Derek Jeter jersey on.
Really?
Into the ladies' room. I heard her screaming. I went in there and hit a guy. Cops were trying to put me in cuffs.
Wow.
And that was the second time in like 2 years. It is not a good place. The drink and the alcohol, the problems. But here's the thing, John. When we had the NBA All-Star game here about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
In 1 week that we had the NBA All-Star game, we had more murders, assaults, rapes, robberies, prostitution, and drug arrests than in the history that they were keeping records in the state of Nevada. Wow. And that is because most of the people that came in for that game were from that area in Oakland.
Wow.
All right. It is listen, I'm not saying everybody that's from there, but listen, you've got Berkeley on one side, nicest. They're all still stoners. They're stoned from the 70s. Great people. One of the greatest colleges in the country. And on the other side, you've got San Francisco, which is the New York of the West Coast, but cleaner. It's gorgeous. Culture, gorgeous. The sweetest people. And in the middle, you got the septic tank, which is Oakland. I'm sorry. And these fans are coming here. I worry about the safety of the people that live here. And that's what I'm talking about when I say I don't want the Raiders here.
Ah, okay. Well, that's understandable. I mean, I don't know a lot about them, but I've heard all that kind of stuff. But if you guys, speaking of, if you guys want to talk to Joe or ask him questions about how to bet, what to bet, that kind of stuff, you guys can call in now. We have a phone line. It is open. It is live. It's 702-660-7666, my favorite number, 702-660-7666. Encourage you guys to call in right now and ask Joe. He's here. I mean, he's a wealth of information. You brought along here, I think, a sport book thing here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, right before I came here, the props come out for the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl is the single biggest betting day of the year. I can't even tell you what they're going to.
Now, people will bet on anything, right? Like you can bet like whether or not, you know, the certain like colored socks or like stupid shit.
Stuff like that. Yes, as non-sports related, who wins the coin toss to how long the national anthem will be, you can bet on. There is a specific prop in some sports books that say, now I haven't seen it in Vegas yet, but doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I did hear about it, that it is online in some sports books online, that you can bet minus 250 if you will see, because J-Lo's doing the halftime show, J-Lo's the crack of her ass.
You can bet money.
Yes, and I know somebody that actually put $40,000.
Put 40 grand.
You will see the crack of her ass.
Now, what's the payoff? If it happens, he put 40 grand, how much does he win?
He wins 10,000.
So he gets 50.
It's not a big value.
But he wins 50,000 essentially.
Well, no, he wins 10. He profits 10. He gets back as a regular.
He gets 40 plus 10.
Now for me, who is I always look at value in anything.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's a lot of value in that, and it's really a crapshoot.
I mean, I think it's almost more like a funny bet.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you got 40 grand to throw away, I don't, but you know, if you had 40 grand to like, hey, I'm going to throw this out. The reality is it's probably going to happen.
It's probably going to happen.
She's not known for wearing, you know, very
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Costumes.
My wife left the studio. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just trying to will it that it will happen. But I will tell you, I'd like to see it happen.
I mean, what's the most ridiculous thing in sports that you know of that you've ever heard of somebody betting on?
Oh, I've seen some asinine shit in my life. I mean, just bets between me and you that you can't do this or eat that or sniff this or drink that. I mean, I've not so much gross out competitions, but I've seen people bet on just about anything. There's an old saying that this guy is so much of a degenerate gambler, he'll bet on 2 cockroaches crawling up a wall. Yeah. But there are people that have to have action 24/7. Bets like that, like the crack, there's no value in it, and it's really not.
Yeah, it's a silly bet.
Yes.
I mean, it's a silly thing to bet on, but it's like somebody going, I'm just going to bet on, like, you know, whether or not the guy's got, white shoes or blue shoes or purple shoes or whatever.
I mean, something that you don't have any, like me personally, I have to be a little more in control of something I'm going to wager my money on.
You're going to make an educated bet.
And I need to have value on it. It has to bring me value.
Yeah.
A lot of people bet, there's things that you can bet in the beginning of a season to see if certain teams will win the Super Bowl, the World Series, the National Championship, the NBA Championship. And for me, unless I would never bet a favorite because you don't get, I would be locking up my money for 6 months of a season. And you're never going to get, and the teams that usually win it are teams that are already favorites 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1.
Yeah.
And it's not value in it. I mean, if I see value on a 15, 20, 30 to 1 team in any of those situations, then I'll say, But I'd rather bet more on an individual game. And A, I don't lock up my money for 6 months. B, my money's in my pocket where it belongs. And C, if I win, it's in my pocket tomorrow. If I lose, I only have stress for 24 hours.
So somebody who's never bet on a game before, just say if someone who's never bet on a game before, what is something that they can, like, what should they be looking at? What should they be betting on?
Well, take the Super Bowl, for example. Everybody knows about it. Everybody watches it. Our grandmothers bet on it. School kids, they got office pools, even if you're not a sports fan.
Yeah, I remember all the little squares.
Sure.
I mean, I've seen a lot of this stuff at different places. People, bet the square thing. I never understood it fully, to be honest, but I know it exists.
But everybody bets the Super Bowl. And like right now, The line is currently Kansas City 1. There are some 1.5s around. It got bet back down to 1. I think this game is a straight-up pick 'em, which means I think they're very evenly matched. They're not playing in either one's home stadium, which would give them an advantage.
Yes.
I do believe that both teams have strengths and the others have some weaknesses as far as, Kansas City throwing team, amazing team. They could score on almost on any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes, throwing quarterback, can run the ball as well. But they are not a running team. They're predominantly a throwing team. And San Francisco comes in with the best pass rush in football, the number one pass rush with a prolific front four. That's amazing. And then Kansas City, who ranks, I believe they're 26th against the run, faces one of the top running teams in the league in San Francisco. Now, Patrick Mahomes, a little more battle-tested than Jimmy Garoppolo, but Jimmy Garoppolo has an edge. He is Italian. So I will tell you this.
So it's a little greasy.
It's a little, fucker. Oh, my goodness. No, but I think it's I think this line is really where it should be. I think it should be an even.
You think it's going to be a real good game?
I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive games we've seen in years.
It's not going to be like one of those ones. It's going to be a blowout kind of thing.
I don't see it being a blowout because another thing, both coaches are very smart. They're both teams. Neither makes a lot of mistakes, and big games come down to usually who prepares better. But both teams had 2 weeks to prepare. They're both well coached. They're two of the 3 or 4 winningest teams this year in football, and both teams are smart. They play good football. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. I think a lot of people are happy that the Patriots are not in it. They had a dynasty for 20 friggin' years.
Yeah.
A lot of people are happy. Tom Brady, he's not Tom Brady anymore. Now he's Mr. Giselle, so he's not so much in the. But, I like to mess with anybody from Massachusetts. They gave Brady the greatest baseball player that ever lived, and they elected the Kennedy, so I like to fuck with them. So.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So let's get back to the to the hockey. In this town, hockey started like just out of the blue, right after a very traumatic thing that happened here in this town. And a lot of people got behind it. And I think it's brought a lot of people together here in this town. Mm-hmm. But what are like, I've heard that they just get it, they fired somebody or something like that?
They fired their coach. They brought in a new coach.
Now why, this guy did a pretty good job.
He did a very good job. Gallant did a very good job. Going into his firing, don't quote me, 4 of 5 they lost. They're not used to losing 4. I believe that's what it was.
In a row?
In a row, yeah. 4 of 5 or 4 in a row. And then the new coach took over, lost the first, won the second, then lost. To be honest with you, I think this team is a very good team. Yeah. They have a lot of talent. They've got good goalies, not great goalies, guys. Stop with the goalie shit. They're not great. They're good. They have a good team. They have a very complete team. They got some speed. They got some good shooters. They got some strong defense. They got some muscle. But I don't think the one problem they have, A, is when they're on the road. B, when they run into the 2 or 3 elite teams in the NHL, they will have problems. A, more experience. B, these teams, every guy on the team on every line. A line is different lines play at different times. Every guy on every line is talented. There's 3 or 4 teams in the league that are just unstoppable, and they will run into problems when they face them. But when they first came on, they were under the radar, I'll be honest with you, and nobody expected. And by mid-season, when they were a first-place team in year 1, people had to start preparing for them. They took them a little bit for granted, and by that time, they just had momentum. And you said it, and I do want to say something about the Vegas Golden Knights. They did bring this city together. We went through one of the most horrific tragedies this world has ever seen, and they did an amazing thing because people were fucked up from this, and they still are. They still
absolutely.
are.
I had friends who were there who still to this day are like a little weirded out and still have things going on about that whole situation. I was actually, the funny thing was I was actually in Reno at the time working on a show, and all of a sudden I didn't even know what had happened because we were in rehearsals for the show we were doing, and all of a sudden I started getting all these messages, and people were like, are you okay? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you guys are being shot up, and I'm like, what? And then I went online and looked, and I'm like, wow. I was like, no, I'm in Reno. I'm hours and hours.
And I do love what they did. It was a tragedy. The city needs something. The city is still it's still fresh.
Yeah.
And it will never go away. Our memories, our friends. My wife and I knew over 20 people that were victims,
Yeah.
over 20 that were victims. We knew hundreds that were there, and I'll be honest with you, it was very traumatic, and it's still traumatic, and that's why I love sports, because the Vegas Golden Knights did bring this city together. It brought community, it brought unity, it got people cheering when people were sad and in a funk.
Yeah, it gave somebody to rally around.
And I love that about them.
Yeah.
I love this team for that.
Yeah.
What I don't like is how they screw the locals on prices.
Yeah. I mean, and that sucks. I mean, when you go to the movie theater, it's the same thing. They jag you at the concession stands. But I mean, last professional sports game I went to go see a Mets game with my brother a bunch of years back, and I hadn't been to a baseball game. And this will date me a little bit.
Oh my
I
God.
saw the New York Yankees play the Astros, I think, and Reggie Jackson was on the team.
You're kidding me. You're talking the early 80s.
Yeah. So I was a little kid, and I remember standing there. I was in Scouts, and we went as a group of kids.
Did you bring your glove?
I did have my
That was
glove.
the coolest
Yeah,
thing.
we used
That
to
was
bring
cool.
our gloves, and we were like, oh, we could catch a ball. I mean, nothing ever came anywhere near us, but.
Well, I know a lot of people in town that get hit in the face with a lot of balls, so you're fine.
Well, this is the town for it.
Yeah.
have-
Sometimes you got to pay extra for that, but you know.
Oh my God. So I want to know more a little bit about. So you got into this, and you were like, you started developing you're a talent, obviously. Yes. So you started to be like, okay, I'm making money, and now I can make other people money. Which, by the way, you guys, if you guys want to go online, you can tune into Joe's website, All American Sports Information. It's aasiwins.com. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do.
I have a lot of other 60 grade handicappers.
Yeah.
There's free games every single day.
So there's
columns, analysis, write-ups, articles, fun stuff.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and it has the price things right here.
Yeah.
So you guys can see exactly what the subscription is, and so when someone buys into this, obviously they're making an investment.
Yes.
And this investment is going to be paying them back, obviously, way more than what they're putting into it.
Yes. Well, like any other investment, like you invest in the stock market, there is a chance that you don't do too well, but
Yes.
we always make that good. We put a guarantee that we'll give you a longer stay. We'll give you until you're making money. And once again, I do not win every day. I do not win every game. And I never claim to be. So if anybody in my business claims to be 80,
win
90,
every single day,
100%, let
It's
me tell you
impossible.
something. Just hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Just go on another screen. They're full of shit. Listen, I've got no problem. I don't love losing, but I have no problem talking about it.
Yeah. So when you get up in the morning, you're like, when do you do your work? Like when is when do you sit down and be like, okay, this is tomorrow when I get up.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to bet on. This is how much I'm going to bet. And do you go to different places, or is there one place that you like a lot? Like how does that work?
Well, first, if I'm dealing with football, I do most of my work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the weekend. 99% of your games are Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
When you're dealing with basketball, baseball, I do it usually 1, 2 in the morning and night. I keep hours like a meth cook. I'm up while farmers are friggin' sleeping. But that's what my people pay me for, and that's what's made me successful over the years. I do homework. I talk to people about lines, where lines are going to go. I get injury information. I do my own due diligence, and then I make an educated decision based on years of experience, a little bit of my own bad beats through the years, and I learned from that. And then I put out games for the day on daily sports like baseball and basketball. I have a phone room. I have a free pick phone because I know you guys love to hear my voice. I know it's very sexy. I've got free pick phones. People call every day. Just to let you know, if you hit 56%, people say a little bit lower. I like to say 56. I set the bar higher. If I hit 56% for a season, I am a champion.
Yeah.
I hit over 60, 65, 70%. Some seasons. I have a free pick phone, which is 1-800-563-8854. That's 1-800-JOE, JOE 8854. Every day, you don't get a callback. You don't get a salesman. No bullshit. Your name don't go on a list. Your number don't go on a list. You don't get put in some friggin' communist database. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, you call, you get a free pick. Hey, this is World Champion Sports Handicapper Joe Domingo. You reach my free daily pick phone, and I give you a free pick. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I've had this line, September was 5 years. Okay. So a little 5 years. I am documented at like 67.2%, somewhere in that neighborhood
of winning.
Of winning. So in the thousands of plays I put, it's off the charts. It's off the charts. I have a paid pick line, the 855-563-8854, 855-JOE, J-O-E, 8854, that I don't put up games every single day, but I got games for like $7, $10, $15, $25.
Yeah.
And it's on a recorded message line. Nobody calls you back, and that line hits at over 72, 73%. And all my releases are documented on not one or two, dozens of websites that I belong to.
Yeah.
So, whatever happens goes up, you see it. You see the numbers. I can't lie. There are people that tell you, listen, there are people that tell you how great they are. But when numbers don't lie, and when they're documented, I don't own these other websites, these documentation services, or these other websites. My own website, people say, wait a minute, he owns that website. I don't host my website. I have somebody else that hosts it.
Yeah.
I'm not even a part of it. The only thing I can do on a daily basis is go in and put up new articles or columns. Other than that, I have no access to the back end of my website. I do that impartially because I want it to be fair, so nobody says, wait a minute, you could fluff those numbers.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a straight up and honest thing to do. I think people should. If you guys, we can pull that up again, and also you guys don't forget. You guys can call in. We got about 15 minutes to go, but 702-660-7666. You can call in, ask Joe some questions or whatever. But tune in, go on Joe's thing. You get a free pick. It's free.
Free every single day.
It doesn't cost you a dime. It doesn't cost you a dime, and you can maybe make some money.
Yes,
and you can bet as much as you want.
Well, somebody has to have. Yes, if you live in one of the states that gambling is legal, or the state, or
Now, what happens? Now, what about these people where the gambling is not legal? They cannot do this. Is that true?
At my end, it's for entertainment purposes only. Then, honestly, listen.
Kind of like like tarot card reading.
Yeah, right. 20 plus states have legalized sports betting, and by the end of the year, another 10. By next year, another 10.
It's kind of like the marijuana thing. Like it's just a matter of time before it just takes over.
Absolutely.
I mean, the whole nation is going that way. I think the South is going to be the holdout. Myself, but
sure.
I think those guys will be a little slow, like they were for most things. But
yeah, there's a reason why they lost the war.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys can tune into it. I mean, check out Joe's site. There's all kinds of great information there. This is interesting. I'm a big fan of the movie Casino. I love that movie. So in that movie, there's a thing that goes on where the main character, Lefty Rosenthal, said nobody had done the sports book thing in a casino before. Is that true? Was he the first person to bring the sports books from the outside to the inside?
It's funny you mentioned that. I didn't meet and know when I was very young coming here those main characters, the real characters.
Yeah.
I knew him and the guy that Joe Pesci played in real life.
Yeah.
I knew those guys. Yes. Back in the old days, the sports books were usually owned by bookmakers from the Midwest back east that came here because
it was
they got
legal.
Run out of no. But it was illegal in New York, Kansas City, Chicago.
Yeah.
They had so many. I have a friend that was a big sports book guy here. He had 140 bookmaking arrests where he was from.
Yeah.
And he came here. He opened up a sports book.
And it was completely legal here.
It was legal.
Yeah.
And what happened, John, was the casinos didn't want anything to do with sports bettors. It was the riffraff of the betting industry. And
why was that though?
It was always looked down upon.
But because they think the table games and the slot machines, like that's like a bet, like
it was
a
more
better
street.
way.
It was more street. I will tell you this: when Napa started growing wine, France and Italy looked down upon them. Now Napa's great. Now you've got Paso Robles and you've got all these other places. Temecula now. Temecula 30 years ago started growing wine.
Yeah.
Napa looked down on them. Now they're respected. It took time, but it was the riffraff of the gaming community. And Lefty Rosenthal was the first person to say, "Hey man, we're leaving money outside. Let's bring it in."
Yeah.
And he was. They were freestanding buildings on and around the strip. Here on the main strip and on the downtown strip, that had and it was riffraffy. I remember them. They were
shady as
they
hell.
were sketchy, man. They were sketchy and
like the flickering fluorescent bulbs.
You left. You need a penicillin shot or something. And but no, he brought it in, brought a little more respectable to it. And he brought a lot of money to the casino because, one thing about the game, and this is what some people don't get about this city. This city, and people say this about paying for parking. I don't pay for parking. I'm Joe D'Amico, a gambler.
Yeah.
If you gamble, you don't pay for things.
Yeah.
You don't pay resort fees.
There's lots of kickbacks.
You don't. No. If you don't pay, you get comped.
Yeah.
I don't pay for meals. I don't pay for shows. I don't pay the park. And somebody says, "Well, I pay for park." I said, "Well, you're forgetting what this city is built on gambling. And if you gamble, you get the key to the friggin' city."
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very important. So he brought it in. The casinos don't want to give away any money. Why would they? But I want our listeners to know, although there are hundreds of billions of dollars bet throughout this world on sports betting, sports betting is a very small percentage of casino gaming revenue. It is not a big. It's like bingo. There's a lot of casinos locally that have bingo.
They still do bingo, yes. And it's always hilarious for me.
It's great
when I walk by them. I'm like, and they're packed.
They're
still
packed.
Those places are packed. It's like Keno. Like I've never understood the appeal of Keno, but people in this town, like they'll sit there, they'll play the machine.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll sit there. I remember when I first came to town at the Excalibur, my first like real job here, performing job here. They used to have a free stage up on the second level across from the buffet. And we did 3 shows a day, 6 days a week, 3 30-minute shows a day, 6 days a week. And so it was free. People would drop their kids off most of the time. But I was 23 years old. I just wanted to do my magic act, and I didn't give a shit. And there was a Keno booth right by the buffet. And it was just like some chairs sitting there, and people would just
absolutely
all day long. And I'm like, and they even had the Keno stuff in the bathroom. I remember the Keno
Keno
board was in the bathroom. Like you could be shitting and playing Keno at the same time. It was amazing. And I was like, I'm sitting there going, this is like, what is this? And it was, but like bingo, people come here and go crazy for the bingo.
I'll be honest with you, sports books. Race is another story. Race is pari-mutuel. They get a piece of the racetrack no matter what. But so it's a little more difficult to explain. But bingo, Keno, sports books. It's a courtesy to get you into the casino and keep you there so you can bet on the tables.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of money in drinking, in food, and in shows. I mean, you go to a show. Some shows cost a few $100 to go see.
Back in the day, back in the 70s, shows were giveaways.
Oh, absolutely.
Back in the this is all obviously from stuff I've read, and then of course a lot of old timers that I've talked to who grew up here in that time period. I mean, like if you were a performer here in town, you were taken care of.
Oh, absolutely.
And they just the shows were like they were just like, here's the thing you take your wife to, while you in between gambling.
John, I want to tell you something. I still remember when I first moved here I bought my house December '89, moved here July of '90. I still remember going to shows, and back then, now guys walking with flip flops and Tommy Bahama shirts.
Oh my God!
Back then, a maitre d' and they had maitre d's.
Yeah.
And a maitre d' job was some friggin' job.
Yeah.
I knew all the maitre d's in town, and the maitre d' would say, "Sir, I think you'd enjoy the show more if you went up to your room and put on a jacket and tie." And they got the hint.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I think you'd enjoy the show more if you had a dress and heels on. And you can't say that now. And now people go to the show, they look like hobos. But the town has changed.
Yes.
And
times have changed.
Yeah.
People want to be more comfortable. They come here to be comfortable, and I'm fine with that. But I don't know. To me, look at me. But when I go to a show, I get dressed up.
Yeah.
Because it's an event. I'm going out, and here are these performers who work their whole lives to do what they're doing, and you're sitting in this multi-million-dollar theater. And I turn to my left and to my right, and I'm watching these people literally look like they just came from the pool, which is fine. You're on vacation, I get it, but why? I don't understand.
I remember when you couldn't walk through the casino in a swimsuit.
Yeah,
you couldn't. Now go on some of these day clubs. You walk through the casino and there's thousands of people, no shoes, or the best is the girls with the bikinis. Yeah. The phone on one side of their bikini, the room key on the other, and nothing else. And they weren't allowed back then. They were thrown out. They were. We just recently saw somebody acting up at the Mirage. Remember, we were out a few weeks ago, and he got nasty with the security guard, and the security guard picked him up by his shirt.
Yeah.
I said, I'm staying here. He said, well, you just lost your fucking room, buddy.
Wow.
And he put him out on the street. He said, how do I get back in the... You're gone.
You're gone.
Call a friend to go get your shit. You ain't coming back in.
Wow.
But I do believe that there should be some decorum. We're supposed to have fun and enjoy yourself here.
Yeah, I'm all about people. You want to go have a good time. You want to be. You're here on vacation. I get it. You want to be. You don't want to wear a suit and tie everywhere. That's fine.
No.
But I think, me personally, like you're going to a show, you should dress like you're going
I understand.
out to the evening, not like you're going, you're not going to Denny's.
Mind you, if you're going to see Motley Crue and you're going to see, I understand, I understand going a little less casual. You can jump around or whatever.
Yeah.
I get it.
But if you're going to Cirque du Soleil, you don't show up in a tank top.
It's the flip-flops that gets me. I don't want to look at Heidi Klum's feet. I got to look at some guy from Des Moines here who hasn't gotten a pedicure in his whole life, and he's got one toe going one way, one going east, one going west. I didn't want to look at his face. I got to look at his feet.
Oh my God. Oh, just a couple of quick things, guys. We're almost done, but a couple of quick things. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. GoLive Vegas. We have a GoLive Vegas app, so guys, go online. We have it available for your Android phones and for iPhones. It's GoLive Vegas. It's the app. Just go punch in GoLive Vegas, all one thing. After Dark host. Make sure you visit Joe's website, aasiwins.com. We're on all the things, Periscope, Facebook, Twitter. We're on all of them. So check us all out. If you guys want to come see me, you can see me 5 days a week. Every day we're dark on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm at the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum in downtown Las Vegas, 600 East Charleston. And if you guys are fans of the Ghost Adventures show, you can watch my episode, which was Hell's Gate. You guys can check that out online. And it's a good episode, I think, not just because I'm on it, but mostly because I'm on it. But we have all kinds of good stuff. And if you guys are interested in being a sponsor for the show, if you have a product that you would like us to promote for you, reach out to us. You guys can get a hold of Aaron. He is the producer here. And just reach in through the site. You can check it all out, all the great stuff. Joe, I can't thank you enough. I've known you only a very short time, but I feel like I've known you forever in a lot of ways. And always, I don't know if it's a New York thing or not, but I think it is. When we find people from the East Coast, we tend to gravitate towards each other because of our passion for stuff. And my girlfriend Rebecca always yells at me because I talk over her when we're having a conversation, which. Yeah, see, it happens. If you're not from New York, you don't know why that. We just all do that. And I try to explain to her. She's like, "You're yelling at me." I was like, "No, I'm just talking." I was like, "This is how we talk." and it's just it's been great knowing you, and I'm very happy to have met you, and because of our buddy Murray.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know Murray the Magician, he has a show at the Tropicana, so go check him out. It's amazing. It's a good magic show. It's good for all ages, too. So if you have kids in town, which I don't know why you would, but if you decided to bring your kids here to Las Vegas, I encourage you guys, go check out Murray's show. There is a lot of things here to do for kids, but this town was definitely not designed with children in mind. But there is a lot of great stuff. Where my show is at the Haunted Museum, we're 16 and up. So if you have kids, just because if you happen to watch our show, Ghost Adventures, which is on the Travel Channel, #1 show for 10 years, by the way.
Wow.
Going strong. It is not like the TV show. This is the stuff. This is the real stuff. We have a lot of crazy stuff, and a lot of weird things happen. We have people vomit and pass out and get touched, scratched, all kinds of stuff. All happens daily at this museum. It's great. But I'm there, and you can come see my show. My show is part of the tour, so you guys pay to get in. You will absolutely see me. I do every single tour. Without stop. But Joe, I'd like to thank you for coming on, and make sure you guys, if you can throw up his line one more time there, Aaron, online. Make sure you guys check out Joe D'Amico. You can check him out at All American Sports Information. That's AASIwins.com. He's, I think you guys, if you guys are into sports betting, I think this is the guy to go talk to. I think you guys will make some money. He obviously makes money. Look at that goddamn necklace. Holy shit. Jesus, it never looked so blingy. But thank you again. I can't thank you enough, my friend. You guys have a great night. Thank you, everybody. We'll tune in next week. We have a great guest coming up. Her name is Ellie Brown. She is a super big influencer on Instagram and all kinds of stuff. She has an amazing story, and I encourage you guys to tune in next week. And she will be in here live in the studio. So thank you guys so much for watching After Dark with John Shaw and Joe D'Amico. That's it, people. Bye, bitches.